why, someone may ask, why are you doing this? And it comes down to the reason for everything on the show, because anal. That's why. Let's go ahead and jump into this week's news bits. You know what they are. The little news stories of the week that aren't quite big enough for their own story, but we don't want to forget them. They need to be talked about, just the little things. And our first one of the day is Mr. Show. I don't know if anybody else knows what that is, but I do. I used to love Mr. Show.
Bob Odenkirk and David Cross.
Yeah, David Cross and Bob Odenkirk. And you may know Bob Odenkirk as Saul from Better Call Saul. And also he was in a movie last year called Nobody that nobody saw, being a good movie, but it ended up being really good, from the makers of John Wick, or creators of John Wick. And well, Mr. Show wants to continue the gun show, because Bob Odenkirk, who just finished Better Call Saul, is saying that he wants to do more action movies like Nobody, because apparently he had a heart attack somewhat recently, and getting in shape for Nobody, he says, saved his life and has improved his quality of life tremendously, and he wants to do more of these movies. So Bob Odenkirk at, like, I don't know, he's 60 or somewhere in there, wants to become an action star. But you know what? It worked for Keanu Reeves. He ain't 60, but, you know, he's getting up there.
It worked for Liam Neeson.
Yeah, it worked for Liam Neeson. I mean, he needs the help of 52 cuts to jump over a fence, but it worked for him, so go for it, Bob Odenkirk. I mean, Bob Odenkirk, I think, is probably in a little bit better shape than Liam Neeson, but...
Kind of worked for Harrison Ford until he keeps falling out or keeps crashing in planes, you know?
Yeah, and breaking hips and stuff. But so if pretty much, I mean, not much there. If you liked Nobody and you like Bob Odenkirk and Better Call Saul, well, he's gearing up to do more. He's looking for more action projects like that. And I thought that was pretty cool, because I really liked Nobody. I do hope that they have a Nobody John Wick crossover at some point, which they have said. Everybody was joking about it when the movie came out. The creators have said, you know what, it's not totally out of the ballpark. I mean, we'll see. So it's at least on their minds. I think it could be cool. I don't necessarily need like a team up movie, but I think it could be cool if they connected those two worlds, because they do seem very, like, I could totally see those two worlds taking place in the same place. Did you guys like Nobody, and are you excited to see Bob Odenkirk pumping iron and becoming more Nobody?
Can we have John Wick and whoever Liam Neeson played in Taken and Bob Odenkirk and Nobody just have just play cards at a table? You know, that's all. That's all he needs. We're playing cards, and then all of a sudden 25 cuts.
I want that crossover. The John Wick, Taken, and Nobody. It'd be John Wick, Taken, Nobody, or something like that. I don't know. I shouldn't make titles, but yeah, I want those three as a buddy cop movie or buddy assassin movie. Yeah, make this happen. Whoever owns
Taken Wick by Nobody.
Yeah. Nobody's taking Wick off anybody, or I don't know. Anyway, let's move forward because I'm butchering this. Let's jump into the little bit of video game news we have this week real quick, and that would be about Halo Infinite. For those of you that enjoy that game, I did for a while. I haven't played it in a while, but it's not because the game's not good. It's just because I know it's had a checkered past up to this point, but I don't play online games that much. I enjoyed what I played of it. They had this whole thing about co-op multiplayer being not there at launch, and it was coming later on, and people were all up in a uproar about that shit, and I get it. I get where they were coming from. I see both sides of it. Well, co-op is, as I reported a few weeks ago, it either is there now or it is coming extremely soon. However, couch co-op, i.e. Same box sitting next to each other on the couch playing it together co-op, has been canceled, at least for now, and will not be there. And this is, they say the first, I swear there was another Halo game that did this, but I could be wrong. This is the first time that you will not be able to play a Halo game on couch co-op, and people are up in arms, and they're really pissed about it. I know, Triv, you don't play video games that much and probably don't have a huge knowledge of Halo or give a shit, but Nick, I know you do. We played it together, and we've talked about it many times. You have a past with Halo. Do you give a shit? Or, I mean, people are really pissed about this.
I am pissed about this because, You know, the one thing that this version of Halo Infinite, if you play it, there's something missing from the game, and that game is co-op because it's so massive, it's so wide. It feels like it's empty, and the reason for that is because it needs fucking co-op in the game. And I know they're going to do online co-op, and yes, that'll be allowed. But let's say like you and I were roommates or something like that, and we like playing Halo and all that stuff. Now we can't fucking do that. Now I have to go in my bedroom, you know, my shitty bedroom. You have to go into your, you know, shitty bedroom and play fucking each other. It just doesn't make any sense. And, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world. I've seen a lot worse come from other studios, but yeah, we're gonna play fucking. We're gonna fucking each other. No, I'm just no, but in all honesty, it's like I don't want to have to go to my bedroom. You have to go to your bedroom just to play the same game when we could play in the, you know, the living room or some shit. That's the kind of stuff that Microsoft is pissing me off about. It's like the whole co-op situation for this game is like nobody's playing this game anymore for that simple reason. Like if they had put that in the very beginning, this game would have more life than it has. So
well, I've defended this game a bit, but I do have to say on this one, I mean, yeah, I've played the earlier games. I played co-op a bit. Me and my wife have played in co-op a bit, and would I play this game co-op? Me personally, knowing where I am, probably not. But I would like the option to, and I get that a lot because I had a lot of good times co-op on couch co-op with the Halo games over the years. What I don't understand is because they have online co-op done, why can't you? It seems like the in-person co-op would be easier to make happen. I'm not a video game programmer or maker or any of that, so I can't say. It just seems like it wouldn't be that difficult to make it work for in-person co-op. It'd be pretty self-explanatory. I mean, some people could say, well, it takes up more processing power because you're doing the screen twice. It's on the fucking Series X. I know the damn thing has enough power to do it, so I don't understand because you have multiplayer. You have same box multiplayer. And that's the same thing. So I don't understand why they can't just give the people what they want. I mean, they've had such a rough time with this game. Just why would you do this? Just give them what the fuck they're saying they want this. Give it to them. So it's one less thing people can fire back at you. I don't get this. This is a weird decision from 343, and they've done some really good things with this game because like the game as a whole I thought was really good. It was entertaining, it was very well made, but it's the shit that they've done after the fact, and it doesn't affect me personally, but a lot of the online stuff they've done, I know people that do play in that space, I get why they're kind of irritated by it. Like the single player and the gameplay, great. I was really happy with it. It had a weird release, but you know what, I was cool with it, whatever. But this, I'm just like, why are you doing this? It don't make any sense. I don't get what the fuck. You're damaging the brand further. And they really damaged the brand with Halo 5 and even with the Master Chief Collection. Originally, they came back from that.
That was bad.
Yeah, that had a really shitty launch. They came back from it. Now it's like a great deal and it's an awesome game. But they don't need to do that with this one. They needed to hit this out of the park. And they don't need to do shit like this where they're just like taking shit out that people have always had. I don't understand why that is, but they're doing it. It is what it is. Now, I mean, the way it's worded, it does kind of make it sound like maybe in the future. We'll see. I don't know, because I feel like this is just kind of if they do it like a year from now, it ain't gonna matter. You need to do it now or never. So
no, they should have done it like 8 months ago. Like now, sure. I don't give a shit. Now I'm not gonna go back and play it now because I have no reason to play it.
They should have done it when the single player came out. When the single player came out, or at least within that window. If it was like a month or two after the single player came out, I would have been like, okay, I get it. They had a lot of moving parts and all that, whatever. I don't know how all that works. I think people may have been like, at first, but then they would have got over it and been cool. But then, what is this? A year and a half? It's like a year later. When did that game come out? It's like a year later.
Came out in November.
Yeah.
Came out in November.
We're almost a year out, and now you're saying, oh, we're just not doing this? It's too late. It's too late. You're not doing it now. Just fucking don't do it. And you're just damaging your brand further. And that sucks because that's a great brand. And it's been around for 20-something years now. And they're just they've made a great, that's what pisses me off. They made a good game. But the decisions they make after the fact, they just can't get their shit together. I don't know what's going on over there at 343, but something needs to happen. I don't know. But it is what it is. If you're looking forward to that, sorry. You can do it online. So I guess there's silver linings. All right, so Warner Brothers, And I'm pretty, nope, I lied. This is not the only time we're going to talk about it today, but Warner Brothers, they've been on a canceling spree lately. They canceled something else today, or not today, a few days ago. Do you know what that could possibly be, Nick? Or Triv?
Batgirl? Again, just to make their point?
Yeah, they just came out and said, we're canceling Batgirl again. Fuck you. I'll tell you what it is. They are canceling, or have canceled, the 2022 edition of DC Fandom.
Oh,
the
yeah.
little
Good.
expo that they started in 2020 with the pandemic.
That I
It
fell
has
asleep
done
watching.
well. I mean, yeah, it's like 8, 9, 10 hours long. I get it. It's kind of like hey, their expo virtually, and they just put it all out there. It did well. I mean, it was popular. People overall, I think, liked it. I mean, it was a little, I think I would have liked more like a just kind of smaller bits, bite-sized bits, if you will. But no, they decided to do, a whole day's worth of streaming for it. Okay, whatever.
Well, 2020 was good. Last year was not so much. Last year was real bad.
I picked up the news off of them, but I never watched them. I know people enjoyed them. But I can get behind, this is a cancellation. Now, the other cancellations that Warner Brothers has done here recently, and the restructuring and all that, while I can get behind the whole idea of it all, I can't necessarily say why. I can only go off of what they're saying. Like the whole Batgirl thing and Supergirl and all that stuff. I don't know. This one I can actually get behind. The reason they gave, I think, is actually a good reason. Because what I said a few weeks ago concerning Warner Brothers is you need to shut the fucking doors. You need to make sure all this news that's coming out about you guys, all this info, stops. You need to put up under construction. We'll get back with you in 6 months. And that's more or less what they're doing here. David Zaslav came out and pretty much said, look, we got a lot of restructuring going on right now. We're changing things up, doing massive changes. We're not going to do DC Fandom because some of this stuff is up in the air. Some of the stuff we're not ready to announce. And let us get our shit together, and then we will talk to you later. They did say that they will be at some other cons, some other like Comic Cons and things like that throughout the year, and they will have stuff to release then. But you know what? I think that's good. I would have rather them do that than come out with this thing and either A, have nothing, have a bunch of fluff bullshit, or say some stuff and then in a month or two be like, no, never mind. That's not happening. I think that Warner Brothers needs to get their shit together and then let everybody know, hey, here's what we got. Relaunch the brand, if you will. I don't know, what are you guys' take on this? Nick, it seems like you're like good, you didn't like it anyway, but Triv, what about you, Triv? What do you think about this?
From just a straight up, like, fandoms aside, all that stuff aside, it's one of those things where, what was the Nemoidian from Star Wars? He says, we will report something when we have something to report. Right now, like you said, what are they going to say? Like, it's going to be a 5-minute announcement of, oh, hey, Flash movie is coming out, Ben Affleck is coming back for parts of that, and that's, and Shazam and Black Adam. That nothing is new. Nothing is, they literally have nothing to talk about until they get their ducks in a row as to what's going to happen when. So, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna, it's one thing to cancel a movie, it's another thing to cancel something like this. And, people anyway draw from so much shit as it is. Like, oh, they didn't talk about this, but, such and so showed up because, he was there. Oh, that must mean whatever project is going on. It's like, no, that doesn't mean anything. That just, he randomly showed up. People will take that and run and speculate regardless. The less you can give them to speculate on, the better. I
agree. I think this is a good thing. Absolutely a good thing. And yeah, the less you're giving them right now, Warner Brothers, there's plenty of speculation. You don't need to put anything. You don't need to put any more bullets in the fucking gun. Just shut your fucking mouths. Lock that shit down and re-release it later on. Nick, you got any other thoughts on this?
In the immortal words of one Terrence and Phillip during a certain movie called Acid of Fire, shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucker.
Yes.
With that said, I agree with what Triv and you guys have said. They need to regroup. They need to reset everything and just kind of go with it. I mean, it doesn't help them to go, we're having a DC Fandom, and like Triv said, hey, here's some shit you've already seen before. Guess what? We're actually going to show you some tennis shoes and a car. Maybe we're going to give Batman a Hummer in the back. I mean, it just at this point, it's just like, who cares? Just, whatever. Just give it a year when David Zaslav is finally not being, basically kicked to the curb by everyone, even though he's only been there for like 3 months. It's just let the shit cool and do a Fandome or whatever in a couple years or a year, and that'll be it. That's how I look at it.
I agree.
Well, and say what you will, I'm not, the way things have come out, I'm not the biggest fan of I can't say his name.
Zaslav.
Zaslav. Thank you. I kept thinking Zaz like the bad guy from Birds of Prey.
A Warner Brothers property, by the way.
Exactly. But say what you will, this is from at least the stuff that's come out. This is the least PR-ish nightmare thing that they've had. So I think that says something good.
Well, yeah, and it's also something they're able to give a straight-up reason that I think everybody can get behind as to why they're not doing it. Other things, the whole Batgirl thing, there's been all kinds of speculations to why that is, why Supergirl, why the Flat, why all these things are happening and moving. This one, I think everybody can be like, yeah, good move on you. Good idea.
Yeah.
Even the people that aren't happy about it, I think everybody can agree, yeah, just figure your
at
shit
least
out.
Offline. Online, they might still be like, you son of a bitch!
Oh, people online are going to be pissed either way. Regardless, you could just come out and say, we're going to give you every single thing you want. Yeah, but it's not what they, why are you giving them what they want?
Exactly.
Even though we want them, everybody's pissed online about something. Anywho, now this next one, I think that is going to touch a special place on Nick. And Triv, you may have something to say. I'll be interested to hear what you got to say about it. Ryan. I always call him Rain. Ryan Johnson.
Ryan.
We all know Rian Johnson.
Rian Johnson.
Well, I always get confused with Rain Wilson. But anyway, Rian Johnson made Knives Out. He's currently working on Knives Out 2 Onions or something like that.
Glass onions.
Glass Onions, yeah, or whatever. That movie. He's made some other things. One movie he made was the extremely divisive The Last Jedi, Episode 8 of Star Wars. The one where he gave us something new, and everybody who had been saying give us something new got mad that they gave us something new. But we're not going to talk about that. They had a planned trilogy that he was going to make, a Star Wars trilogy that was going to spin off of that movie. It was going to be a spin-off trilogy that went from something, I don't know of what, maybe the Slave Kids or whatever, but whatever. It was a trilogy they've been talking about for a long time. The Last Jedi comes out. Like I said, it was very divisive. The very loud Star Wars minority, a lot of people didn't like it, so it caught a lot of shit, and that trilogy seemingly went away. Well, no, it didn't. Apparently, Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy is still happening. He says that he just recently talked to Kathleen Kennedy, and they do talk quite a bit, and it is still on the board. It is still happening, but he is doing his Knives Out trilogy right now, and they're waiting for him to complete that, and then they will start to explore what direction they're going to go with his Star Wars trilogy. So those of you that loved The Last Jedi and that whole vibe it had going on, get ready. Yes, Nicholas liked it. We have you. According to Rian Johnson, you're still getting it. It's coming. It's just not coming right away. It's coming at some time in the future. Do you guys think this is a good idea? I mean, do you believe? Well, I guess first, do you think it's a good idea, and do you think that this is actually going to happen ever?
No. And I'll tell you why. If it weren't for the shit that Rian Johnson got for Last Jedi, which I'll say on the chat, I'll say it right here, you guys can all hate me, I think it's the best Star Wars movie ever made.
Yes.
Shit, the best? I like that.
I will stand by.
Yes.
But I'll stand by that for the rest of my life. Anyways, if it weren't for that movie getting a lot of shit, because he was literally supposed to do that Star Wars trilogy right after. If it weren't for that, he backed away. If it weren't for that, we would never got Knives Out. And Knives Out was fucking awesome. So
yeah, we wouldn't have. Wasn't he supposed to do? Was he supposed to do The Last Jedi? Not the last. He did.
Well, they offered him
the next one.
Yeah, they offered it. Well, they offered to him. He said no because he just wanted to do one. So they offered to Trevor or whatever, and then he got a lot of flack. He talks about this on a podcast I listened to. He read the Twitter. Yeah, but he read the Twitters the night that his movie released, and he said, "Yeah, I'm probably gonna step away for a little bit, do my own thing." And that's when Rian Johnson is at his best, when he does his own thing. Because as much as I like Last Jedi, there is still problems with it. But when you see him do like Brick and Looper and fucking Knives Out, that's when Rian Johnson works his best. So I don't want him, as much as I would love him to see the trilogy of Star Wars movie. Just do your own thing. The word man knows how to make fucking movies, so I can't see him. I don't want him to do another Star Wars movie, if that's my honest opinion. As much as
Nick
I love
has spoken. All hail.
How about you, Triv? What did you think of Last Jedi, and do you think that this trilogy is going to ever come about?
I really enjoyed Force Awakens for my own personal reasons. But yeah, Last Jedi was something unique. I love the fact that it went in a different direction. It felt like it was kind of not in quality wise, but just a total opposite of what Force Awakens was, and it needed to be. But the backlash it gets, I think, is over the top. But that could be said of, anything that comes out now is going to face backlash, and not the appropriate amount by any stretch. But because of what he did and the fact that he was willing to take it in a new direction. Hell, even keeping things as simple as, spoilers, Rey just being a random chick and not having any affiliation with anything else in the like any of the, big families, was the smartest thing that they could have done. And if we can, the thing that Star Wars needs to do, if you're looking at the health of Star Wars, is move away from all of the stories that have been told. It's a massive galaxy. Let the stories be told. So, from the perspective of diversity in Star Wars, and I don't mean people, I just mean stories, it needs to go in that direction if it wants to survive. I
agree.
Because they're gonna run out of people. Yeah, exactly. From the perspective of, I'm with Nick, like Knives Out, to this day, is still one of my favorite movies of, the 2010s. And it was so fun. So if there was a way to clone him and have him do, like, the Star Wars movies as well as, doing his own thing, then yeah. I think Star Wars needs diversity. Now, whether that's Rian Johnson or someone else, they need people that can see outside the box. That's what it comes to.
Yeah, they need that, and they need a focused story.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, but...
All right, need a thing called a roadmap.
Yeah. All right, so, Rian Johnson's trilogy... They say it's still happening. I don't know. Let us know in the chat if you think we're ever going to see his fabled trilogy, even though none of us know what the fuck it's about. But let us know if you think so. All right, so moving on to our last little news bit of the day. Meme stock. You guys remember that? Yeah.
I feel like it.
It came and went that quick. What was that, Nick?
Yeah, I pulled out of that meme stock before it caught on, so yeah, I know very well.
Are we talking like meme stock as in like Woodstock, or are we talking meme stock as like a crypto coin?
Meme stock was the whole thing that happened, I guess it was about a little over a year ago.
Yeah,
it happened with AMC and GameStop.
Oh, that. Yeah, okay.
The short squeeze they did where a bunch of people from Reddit, I think it was, bought a lot of... They inflated the cost of GameStop's stocks to like an insane amount. And a lot of people who jumped in at the right time and then sold and just did everything just right, they made a shit ton of money. They essentially, the everyday man, came in and did what stockbrokers have been doing for years. It's kind of illegal is a word that's been thrown around, but it is a manipulation. But a lot of just everyday people like us made a a select few made a shit ton of money off of this thing. And some people were saying, oh, that's not cool. And others were like, stockbrokers do it all the time. So anyway, it was a big deal. It came and went. It actually did end up saving GameStop because GameStop was on the verge of going out of business. Their stock has since dropped back down to a more normal rate. It is not down to when all that started. It was somewhere like $3, $4, or $5 a share. Now it's up around like the $27 to $30 a share. And at one point it went up to like something like $600 a share. But there was a book written about it, and the rights to said book, movie rights to the book, were picked up before the book was even done. And we had heard about that. We knew that there was a movie coming about it, but now we have a few more details on it. The Meme Stop movie has gotten a title and most of its cast. The title of the movie is going to be called Dumb Money, and that's the title of the book, I think, as well. And they have cast Paul Dano, Seth Rogen, Pete Davidson, and Sebastian Stan. We don't know who they're going to be playing. That's really all we know, the title, and those people are going to be in it. And I'm wondering, is this going to be like a Social Network-esque? Because the guy who wrote the book actually wrote the book that the Social Network was based on. So is it going to be a Social Network-esque book? Is it going to kind of be a satire? I don't know, but as this project goes on, I kind of am more and more... I was not interested in this at all when it first got announced, but I'm getting more and more interested in it, even though Seth Rogen's in it, and I kind of not a big Seth Rogen fan anymore. But what do you guys think about this?
I think that they're gonna make a movie out of anything, but this is fascinating. Like, I had a lot of friends that had Robinhood or stock through Robinhood, and they found out what a shit service it can or has the potential to be. And the fact that, like, hedge fund guys, and you talked about, kind of tiptoeing around illegal. It's only illegal if the right people are doing it. But yeah, it is. I mean, it's like all the king's men, all the president's men or anything like that. It's one of those weird things that comes along once every 10 years or something, and it's like, holy shit, how did this is real life. This isn't just like a movie thing. It's weird,
So I watched a documentary about 7 months ago called GameStop Rise of the Players, and I actually really enjoyed it, because even though I knew a lot of the stuff was going on with it, I kind of enjoyed it. But the thing about it, we'll all agree. I mean, at least I think we'll all agree. The idea of doing a Facebook movie was the dumbest idea I've ever heard in my entire life, and then it turned out to be like one of the great movies of the whole decade.
Right?
How good it was with
David
Fincher.
When I saw that movie, I was like, "Who the fuck wants to see this?" And I watched it. I was like, "Holy shit, this movie's so good!"
Mm-hmm. But it's directed by Craig Gillespie, who's a pretty decent director. But I mean, okay, the cast so far: Sebastian Stan, Paul Dano, and Pete Davidson. I know you're not a big fan of Seth Rogen, but dude, Sebastian Stan, Paul Dano, awesome. Pete Davidson, okay, I can go for it.
He's
Seth
a wild
Rogen,
card.
awesome. Yeah.
He oddly enough fits within this story for me.
Yeah. I mean, Craig Gillespie did I, Tonya, so that's kind of movie this is going to be probably. But yeah, that whole GameStop thing was insane. Like, I remember reading about it, not understanding anything about it, but I had the Shiba Inu stuff, the coin or whatever that before I sold it before it got big, and the same thing with GameStop and AMC. I could have made more money than I want to admit, but yeah, I back to the movie. I actually want to see this movie. I think it could be fun.
Oh yeah.
I mean, as things get announced by it, I become more and more interested in it as it goes, especially knowing it came from the guy who wrote the book that the Social Network was based on. Now, I mean, I know David Fincher had a big part in that. He's not involved in this, but
yeah,
I'm interested. I want to see what they're working on. I'm more curious as to what the tone of the movie is going to be, because the Social Network was very serious. So I'm wondering what tone, because this seems like a movie that will kind of go like this. They'll probably have like some dramatic moments closer to the end, but like it's going to have a aloof kind of, oddball tone, I would think. I don't know though.
Yeah,
it's gonna be Weird Al Yankovic.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, that reminds me. Have you seen the trailer for Weird?
Yeah.
No, not yet. I haven't.
Oh man, it's so weird. No. What I was saying. You remember the Steve Jobs movie where Seth Rogen played Steve Wozniak? No, the one where it had Michael Fassbender or Steve Jobs, but
isn't it just called Jobs?
Probably. I don't know. There's like several.
There's
Steve
two of them
Jobs
that came out at
movies.
the same time. One of them had Ashton Kutcher, and one of them had Michael Fassbender. I can't remember.
Okay.
I think Jobs was the Michael Fassbender one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But Seth Rogen played Steve Wozniak, and it was actually a drama. He was actually pretty good in it. So, I mean, hey, drama. Seth Rogen. Cool.
I was gonna say Seth Rogen did pretty well with the room behind the scenes thing with
the Disaster Artist. Yeah,
Disaster
yeah.
Artist. I mean, not that he played a huge role in it, but he, as much as I'm kind of with you, he's one of those guys that I can do in small doses. But yeah, I mean, I think he can do it. He can do it as long as it's.
He's the male Melissa McCarthy. He started out really funny, but now he just plays Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
It is what
Better
it is.
than
And
playing
the guy says
Josh
some
Gad.
dumbass shit out in the real world too, but whatever.
Yeah.
I try not to put those two together.
Best plan.
All right. Well, that's it, guys, on our news bits. That's the small stories of the week that I wanted to talk about, and just kind of, not big enough for their own stories, but I did want to just put a few of those out there in the world. What do you guys think? Did we miss anything this week that you wish we had talked about? What do you think about Mr. Show? Going back to the gun show. Heartbreak. Feeling good in a place like this again. Halo Infinite. Not being able to play with your friends on a couch. Warner Brothers canceling yet again something else, but this time a good thing. Rian Johnsons Trilogy, and of course, Meme Stock. Let us know in the comments below what you guys thought.